Welcome, everybody. This is actually, we're moving City Planning Commission up by 45 minutes because we moved our city council meeting from Tuesday to Wednesday because of elections yesterday. But we also, before we start City Planning Commission, we also have trying to pop it up here. I'm not very good at multitasking here, I guess. So we have a public hearing that we are going to do first, and I am trying to find it. Sorry. I thought I had it up here. There we go. All right, so this is a public hearing. I'll call the meeting to order. In attendance, we have Angela, Eric, Mayor Smith, Dina, and Henry. We do have a quorum. We do have a couple of individuals that are not in attendance tonight, but we still have a quorum. This is just one item on the public hearing. This is for rezoning for James Cotter for Jarmex LLC, Commercial Drive, ordinance number 14-2024. So it's in ordinance form, so that would mean that we are. Jesus. Sorry, guys.
I'm going to the wrong meeting. Where am I?
All right. Okay, Aaron's going to help me out while he's still here.
All right. Thanks, Mayor. This is
No
a
worries.
public hearing for a conditional use permit for Eland Holdings LLC, owner Aaron Hatcher, who's in the crowd tonight. Aaron, thanks for coming. This is at 303 Southwestern Avenue. It's for a conditional use permit on a property that's B4 in the Fulton Street overlay district. You guys would know this property as the daycare that recently closed. And Aaron is looking to do a K through 8 school, private school, in that building, and would just need a conditional use permit for that. So that's what the public hearing is for.
Okay, so at this time, then, we will take testimony in favor of this is a rezone, right?
Nope, just a conditional use
Okay,
permit.
conditional use, okay. So we'll take testimony in favor of this conditional use permit. If you'd like to give testimony in favor of, step up to the podium, give your name and address for the record, limit your time to 3 minutes or less. Any testimony in favor of?
Good evening, Eric Helverson, 311 Southwestern Avenue. I've been the next door neighbor to the daycare for, well, I think that was built in 2002 or 2004. And quite honestly, I miss having the kids next door. I've known Aaron professionally for multiple years when he was at the Waupaca Christian Academy, and I think he's going to bring something good to the table here. And I would highly encourage moving forward with that and granting the conditional use permit. And never had a problem with them as a neighbor next door. Always been good. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric, anybody else that would like to give testimony in favor of the conditional use permit? Yeah?
Yeah, you can.
Well, my name's Aaron Hatcher, and we're the ones filling out the paperwork for this conditional use permit. We're looking to have a K-8 school. It would be a private, classically minded Christian school to occupy the building there. We're excited about it. We would probably look at having, just so we know, probably about anywhere from 30 to 35, 40 students in there in year one. Probably the majority of them would be bus riders. I've spoken with the district. We've got some conversations ongoing about transportation and things like that, but the majority of them would be bus riders on the way in and on the way out. I would have to speak with the city police department about routing traffic and things like this. But those discussions, I guess, are all sequential, and so they have not been had yet. But as far as everything else moving forward, we're excited about it. We've got a good enrollment for this first year, 25-26, and we're excited about the possibility of occupying this building going forward.
Any other testimony in favor of? Hearing none, do we have any testimony in opposition? Is there any testimony in opposition? Again, if you would, just give your
Yeah.
name.
Scott Bickley, own Little Wolf Automotive. I'm on 225 Western and 323 Western. I'm not opposed to it, but having in school, I know Aaron and our kids for a little while attended WCA. One of the concerns would be traffic because of that intersection where it's at. I know that he just said he addressed the bus situation, but when we have we'll have, during the summer, we'll have a truck pulling a camper that wants to go into McDonald's. We'll pull right in front of the Quick Loop. Not a big deal. They run into McDonald's. But when they pull out of Pick and Save in there, they stick their nose a little bit too far out there, and then all of a sudden a car comes through. So I don't know what the city planning would be for that, but having parking on the street, just having kids there and stuff like that. But I know you can only fit like 3 cars in that circle. And I know with the daycare, they did it pretty well. I never had a complaint with that because you had different drop-off times. But if you've been over to the middle school at 3 o'clock, it's crazy. So that'd be my only concerns. I have no problem. I love to have kids there. That would be great. It'd just be the concern of cars at that intersection. I plow snow there. I back up. I got my head on a swivel half the time. So just my concern. Thanks.
Thanks, Scott. Anybody else? Testimony in opposition or in between? Any other testimony in opposition? If not, I'll declare this hearing closed at 4:38 p.m. So the way this works, so we do a public hearing beforehand, and normally we have this then on our regular agenda, which it is tonight. So if you guys want to just stick around, we'll be discussing this during our regular agenda of the City Planning Commission, which will start in just a minute here. Give me a second to get the right date here. All right, I'll call this regular City Planning Commission meeting to order. It is Wednesday, April 2nd, and it's 4:39 p.m. I'll call this meeting to order. In attendance, we have Mayor Brian Smith, Alderperson Eric Olson, Alderperson Henry Veliker, Angela Sage, and Dana Gusky. And then we also have our City Administrator, Aaron Jensen, with us tonight. We do have a couple of people that are not in attendance that are on there, but they are excused, and we do have a quorum. So we have an agenda that you have in front of you, dated April 2nd. We would just need a motion to approve that agenda as printed.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Eric, second by Angela, that we approve the agenda as printed. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. We haven't had a meeting in a little while here, but we do have Planning Commission minutes way back from January 8th that are in your packet here. If you're okay with those, we would just need a motion to approve those so that we could place them on file.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Dana, second by Henry, that we approve the minutes from January 8th. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. All right, action items. So this is going back right to our public hearing here. This is conditional use permit for 303 Southwestern Avenue. And Aaron, do you want to?
Yep.
Aaron, do you want to set that up for us?
Sure. Thanks, Mayor. Plan Commissioners, this staff report can be found on page 4 of your packet. As you can see here, and as I mentioned and as Aaron mentioned, this is for a conditional use permit for a K through 8 grade school. Again, here's the property, kind of that funny shaped property. South of McDonald's, off of Southwestern Avenue, used to be the daycare. As mentioned in the public hearing, this is a B4 zoning, which is a business district, strip commercial, and then it also has a Fulton Street overlay over it. Of course, so you have either permitted uses or conditional uses in these districts. This is a conditional use, which is why we're here tonight. Future land use map, commercial, just basically fits the zoning as is right now. And this is pretty simple. There's not a lot of conditions on this, but I will read through the conditions. We are recommending approval. And the first condition speaks to a site plan review, and that's what Mr. Bickley, when he talked about concerns of parking and traffic flow, things like that, we would address all of those concerns in a site plan review application. Aaron, I spoke with your realtor, I think that you're working with, and I had heard, Scott, of your concerns through someone else about a week ago, was able to communicate that with your realtor, Aaron, and we had talked about that a little bit, and that's something that we don't have to do tonight. That doesn't necessarily impact the conditional use permit, but we will handle that in a site plan review. Staff, from what staff understands of the proposal, no grave concerns about what that may look like, and we think we can handle that. Also, the conditional use permit specifically requested for the K through 8 grade school. Any variations would require a new conditional use permit. So if we were to go to high school, Aaron would just have to come back and apply for an amendment to the conditional use permit. And then all state and federal requirements need to be met. All other zoning and building permit requirements need to be met. And the only other zoning permit would be that site plan review application, and then the building permits we've been talking through. So other than that, staff is recommending approval of this conditional use permit. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Aaron. Aaron Hatcher, could you just step to the podium here? I don't know if anybody else has a question, but I do have one, and it really has to go along with a couple things. One, Scott's concern. When we think of the middle school, of course, kids are coming from all over the place. I'm assuming that's probably going to be the case here too, or do they, just from my knowledge, so the kids that are going to attend your school, are they going to all come on one bus, or is it going to be like 20 buses or 30 buses that come?
Right. I don't know exactly. As Scott mentioned, I was at a previous school, at a current school, I guess, previously. Anyways, how they did it was they would load from WCA's front door. Then they would drive to the middle school, I believe it might have been the Learning Center, either the Learning Center or the middle school, and then they would get on their appropriate bus, one of the 20 or 30 buses, however many come to the middle school. For arrival, though, they go through the pickup process, and wherever the kid lived, pick them up, and then if they went to WCA, they would drop them off. That's the only experience that I have, so 5 or 6 different buses would filter through, and then go to the middle school, elementary school, high school, wherever, and be dropped off. With the location of where this building is, I don't know if they would all meet at the middle school and then get on a centralized bus to be taken to the daycare building, to hopefully our new home there. I don't know, Mayor, how that would work exactly. That would not even be up to me. That would be up to the logistics of Go Right Way. So I don't have a clear answer on that, but how they did it previously is they would leave on one bus, but then come in on 3 or 4, 7, however many different buses. So
Yeah. So and it would be something nice to know, I think, just because of the amount of it could create a logjam there, you know.
Sure.
I know it gets busy on Western Avenue in the morning, and pretty busy all day long because of the pick and save exit has to come out to Western Avenue if they're going to turn west on Fulton Street. So they're going to be going right past your property there too. So I, you know, whatever you can make so that it's safer for the kids, but also make it safer for everybody else that's using that area would be
Right.
awesome.
Yes, absolutely. I agree too. One of the things that we have discussed, once again, not largely, and I haven't talked to Scott about this either, but I would talk to Scott about it too, is how do we facilitate obviously the flow of traffic? And I think, Angela, maybe we even discussed this the day we were there, was the parking is very limited. So what do we do? The way we've anticipated it, specifically in the first few years, is there wouldn't be a whole lot of car traffic there as we anticipate really for the first few years, just because of size. We might talk about a few cars. You know, Sammy forgot his lunch, mom's got to come and drop it off, and then she's out of there. You know, it's not a lot. Whenever we look at really the amount of students that are in the district that I presume would ride the bus, that probably alleviates probably 70% of the car traffic. And so really at the end of the day, would probably be even less as we talk about a bus coming to pick up the majority of the students. I presume this to be the case, to take them to the middle school for loading their appropriate bus, if that's how they do it again. As far as special events and stuff, obviously going through 8th grade, we wouldn't have like high school sports like every night of the week, or there's obviously not even a gym there. So there might be very few times where there would actually be, you know, if we have 45 students, you know, the first year of enrollment, where all the parents are there simultaneously. If that's the case, I would have to talk to Scott, I'd have to talk to U-Haul, I'd have to talk to Pickens, whoever, and just let them know. I think there's even a chiropractor across the street. There's going to be some congestion right there for, you know, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And then go from there, you know, type of thing. So these are all things that we've discussed and considered internally, but until we actually had approval, had the, you know, everything closed and stuff, we didn't go forward with the police department, which would, I guess, orchestrate a lot of the movement in that area. So anyways, that's kind of where that is right now, Mayor.
Yeah, thanks. Again, I have the same concern that Scott does, quite honestly. I mean, I've been in that area, and I do know that it can be kind of crazy, and now you add school buses to that, and it could get a little scary. And along with this, Aaron Johnson had said that as part of the condition, there is a site plan review that needs to get done here. So even though we're going to be, if we agree to recommend that this conditional use permit be granted, understand that you're not done yet until this site plan review is completed. Anybody else? Sorry, I mean, it was a daycare, and so, I mean, we're changing it from a daycare to a closed daycare too, but to a school, and you know, there's differences, but there's similarities too. So I don't really think the use of the building really makes that big of a difference. It's crazy that the traffic is probably the most important part of this whole thing. So, yeah, Eric, if you have to use a microphone, sir. I'm going. You can sit too, Eric, if you want to.
No, I wanted to be on this side this time.
All right, okay.
So I can kind of speak on the past, what the bus traffic was like with the daycare over the last 10 or so years, that in the morning there would be 2 buses that would come in and pick up students that were dropped off by the parents to go to the schools. So there were 2 every morning that would come in. One would go out to Chain Exploration, and the other one would go, I assume, to the Learning Center in the middle school. And then after school, there was 1 bus that would drop off. Occasionally, there was the city bus, and the kids that were in that area would sometimes go to the daycare, and then that city bus would pick them up. So occasionally there was 3, but usually there was 2 buses in the morning, and there was 1 in the afternoon that I saw. I wasn't always home when they were there. But if you look at it, the congestion pretty much comes from the parking lot coming out from Pick and Save. And once you're beyond that, you're a good block. There's the storm retention pond, so you got a good long area there, and the buses fit pretty much right in front of the existing daycare building. So it really doesn't get that congested, and the time of day at 3 o'clock, most of the traffic's going into Pick and Save, and the buses are gone well before the traffic gets heavy down there.
Cool. Cool.
I would have a concern with it too. But they're unloading, when they come in, they're gonna be unloading not across the street, it'll be right in front of the building. And the biggest thing is cars just go too darn fast down that street, whether there's a school there or not. But I don't see it a big issue. I don't think you're gonna have 6 or 8 buses there. I'm guessing it'll probably be 2 or 3 at the most.
Okay.
That's a guess.
Good.
Thanks.
Yeah, good. Hey, Aaron Hatchet, I have another question for you, actually. So the daycare had a playground. Is that playground adequate for you? This is just me
Yeah.
asking a question.
Yeah, good question. I don't think the daycare or the playground is still there.
Okay.
Was it maybe a plastic one or
Yeah.
move? I don't know.
It
I don't
was
think
pretty
there's one
small,
still
but
there.
Yeah.
So there is a fenced in area. Yes, sir. Yeah. If I remember correctly, the fenced in area, and Aaron, you might be able to see this. I believe it literally like goes up against that gully area around the back of the property up to the side of the building. So literally, like students, the way I've thought through it is they would exit one of the doors downstairs. There's a exit door right on ground level. They'd exit that door inside the fence area. Am I thinking about this? I think that's correct there. And then they would play in the fenced area, come back inside. So really, they're either inside or in the fenced area, and then we would have to line up, to come outside. And so it would be an orderly process, I would say.
Sure. Okay, thanks for that. I know I asked this before. Anybody else have any comments? Okay, so recommendation by staff is to approve this with those 5 conditions that you see. Looks like one is kind of duplicated, but we'll call it 5. So if we're okay with that, we would need a motion to approve. And again, I've been on city planning for a long time, but I think we approve conditional use permits, right? They don't go to council.
Conditional use permits go to city council.
Okay, so we're recommending to city council.
Yep,
Okay.
site plans
Site
stopping.
plans.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, I'm batting 0 tonight.
Well,
Just like Contreras.
I would make that motion that we recommend the conditional use approval to council
All right,
Second.
so we have a.
with the conditions.
All right, so we have a motion by Eric, second by Dana, that we approve the conditional, or recommend to council the conditional use permit and including those 5 conditions if they're met. Any further discussion?
I will be abstaining from the vote because I'm personally involved for business reasons.
Okay, thank you. Are you ready to vote? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no, and we have 1 abstention. We still have a quorum because I'm a voting member of the City Planning Commission, so we do have 4 people to approve. All right, thank you. Good luck to you. Okay, next up, we have the certified survey map for 419 South Harrison Street, which is Oslam-Mert 3-lot land division. Aaron?
Yep, thank you, Mayor Smith. I'm going to bring, Plan
Yes, Scott,
Commissioners,
thank you.
I'm going to bring your attention to page 13. There's a memorandum of understanding prepared by our staff member, Rhonda Rollins. And then also right after that, there is a certified survey map, which shows the 3 lots that are being proposed by the applicant. Just for perspective, this is, if you just go just to the south of this, there's a cul-de-sac right here, and a big kind of a wetland that the topography really drops off. Prior to what you're seeing proposed here, lot 1, 2, and 3, this entire bold rectangle was one big lot. So the applicant is suggesting or asking that we divide this for the purpose of building 3 separate single-family homes, which is great. And we really have no concerns at all. Actually, it's wonderful from a density standpoint and a housing standpoint. You will see in the memo, there just are a couple notes that are unique to this. So typically we would have a driveway off of for all 3 lots, but there's a topography challenge here in which it just makes more sense to have kind of one driveway on the southernmost lot. And then there's an easement, as you can see here, that's being recorded to provide access to lots 1 and 2 to get around that topography challenge. And the only other thing is this is an area that is currently doesn't have sewer lines. Justin right now has been speaking with the applicant through this process. The applicant does know that there right now are conversations and efforts being made to get sewer to that area. I just spoke with our wastewater superintendent yesterday. We have money budgeted to do the design work to get sewer there. So I think that is going to be the plan. And then once we get the design work done, then of course we would go to bid and the timeline would be better set at that point. But we just have to do a little bit of coordinating and make sure the construction lines up with the availability of sewer. And then the only other thing of note, and this happens every time we have a land division, the city code and ordinance has public site fees, which is common in all municipalities, of $200 per lot. That gets charged anytime there is a subdivision for residential purposes. So we're recommending approval of the certified survey map.
That is an old play area of mine when I was a kid. They don't find anything up there that we were doing. So the sewer, there's going to be a way that they can figure out to get sewer there, but we've had this discussion about how we're going to get there. I mean, there's actually a couple ways that you could get there. One would be to come off of High Street and go through those low-income housing on High Street. That's one way to do it. That's not preferred, I guess. We're going to have this discussion as we go forward with this at a later date. The other way would be to just go down Harrison Street, and if you know that area, you have Smith Street, and then you have Morton Street, and then you have Harrison Street stops, and then it's kind of a gravel road from Smith Street to Morton Street, as Morton Street comes around the corner. How am I doing?
Yeah, good.
And that is, I think, Justin's preferable direction. But I really want us to have the discussion about actually going down Morton Street. So starting on Morton Street up by where the old Westwood School was, that area, and going down Morton Street, because almost every one of those properties that are there are not on sewer. So they all have, that's one of those subdivisions way back when that was built, and they weren't required to hook up to sewer. And of course, there's a lot of wetlands there, so, I mean, it's gonna be a little controversial, so, but I would still like to have it would be a lot controversial, but I'd still like to have that conversation with the council and planning commission, and also the residents that live there too. How many of them want to hook up to it? But, and to me, that seems like the best route to go. But we'll see. And I don't know what the timeline with this individual is on building there. I don't know, Angela, if you know that, or?
Currently, there's no timeline because they're still actively for sale.
Okay. Okay, so they're just for sale, right?
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted you to know that that's the discussion we're going to be going through. So let's go back to what this was about. We are looking to approve, is this a recommendation too, Aaron? Help me out again. The council?
This one's done here.
Okay, all right. So we would be approving the certified survey map if you're okay with that. I don't know if you had any other questions, anybody? All right, anybody have a motion to approve the certified survey map?
I make a motion to approve the certified survey map for 419 South Harrison Street, 3-lot land division.
Second?
A motion by Henry, second by Eric, that we approve of the certified survey map.
I'll be abstaining from this vote as well.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. And 4 ayes, no noes, 1 abstention, motion carries. All right, we are to reports. Aaron, what do you got for us?
Actually, we have one more item, was the River North Neighborhood Public Service Street Lighting Approval.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right. So this one, Mayor Smith and Commissioners, is on page 21 of your packet. Angela, I think you can vote on this one, I believe.
Eric, I'm sorry that you didn't get to make your trip, but I'm glad you did.
Right. This is a memo that was put together by our Public Works Director, fellow Plan Commissioner, Justin Behrens. Just summarize, this is in regards to the street lighting that is going to be installed in the River North neighborhood. Typically, the street lighting, if you didn't want to pay any extra charges to WPS, would be on wood poles. The suggestion is to have this be a more decorative pole. This is something that, per the developer agreement that the developer has signed into with the city, the developer will be covering that cost. So it really will be no extra cost to the city. You can see the cost that will be passed on to Tycor is just over $12,000. The electric bill Justin goes into, we have that budgeted in our annual maintenance. And then Justin had also put kind of a little graph showing the efforts of the Public Works Department, and Justin specifically on kind of how their efforts have lowered the electricity cost over years with reduction of some lighting in areas in which it was deemed overlit. So long story short, in our ordinance, we do have to have Plan Commission approve an upgrade of lighting, but in this case, the cost associated with that is passed on to the developer for the decorative lighting. So we'd be looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second, oh, go ahead.
Second.
Motion by Henry, or Dana, second by Angela, that we approve of the street lighting additional cost for decorative poles in River North. Any discussion?
Well, and it will be underground, which is very nice too.
Yeah.
It's a nice aesthetic thing for the new neighborhood.
Yeah, cool. And I don't know if you guys saw this on the council meeting tonight, though, but Alex from Tycor is going to be there tonight and just give us some updates, so that'll be nice to see what's going on there. All right, you want to, ready to vote? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Against, say no. Motion carried. I'm doing such a great job at this meeting tonight that, Aaron, is there anything else I need to do here? But
Nothing. You're good.
okay, all right. Well, tell us what's going on with any updates or anything.
Okay. So on page 39, you'll see reports. Nothing, I don't believe, is out of the ordinary. I will give just a little bit of a development update, as we always do. Right now, later this month, sometime in mid-April, we're expecting the occupancy to be granted for the final building, the 5th building out of 5 for the River North Cottages, which is the WIDA project. When that's done, that'll be 45 units in that development in total. Ticor, as Mayor said, is coming tonight to talk about their next steps as soon as the ground and the weather allows for it. They're going to start right away with 6 single-family homes in the single-family portion of their development. They're also going to talk about, so I can tell you those homes will range somewhere between $300,000 and $400,000. But they will also talk about how there are options for $260,000 homes should someone want that square footage and that model and that floor plan. And then at the same time, they're also going to be pulling the permit for 4 of their apartment buildings, which is kind of nestled in between Go Right Way and Carousel Gymnastics. Those apartment buildings are between 10 and 12 units, so those are going to start right away when the weather allows as well. We have had some just interest in some industrial type development. So commercial is still pretty relatively slow. We have had some like interior alterations and such, but we do have some interest in some industrial development out by the airport area. Hopefully more to come on that sometime in the future. And then, of course, the downtown apartments by the rec center, Tim Schulke, BTS development, that's moving along. I do get comments a lot about because the siding isn't up yet, and people are wondering if things are progressing. And speaking with our building inspector as well as the owner of that, I do know that a lot of inspections have been done inside, HVAC, plumbing, all of that. So expecting that to be done in June or July of this year and rented out sometime in July. I think those are the big ones, Mayor.
Okay,
I'm sure I'm missing something, but that's what I can think of off the top of my head.
all right, thank you. Anybody else have anything? Henry, go ahead.
I'm not going to get the company correct, but they're currently off of Highway 10 and they're core.
Oh, yeah.
How's their development going just west of the airport?
Yeah, thank you for asking. There's one I forgot about. Alliance Industries.
Alliance, thank
Yep,
you.
and that's who we extended the sewer extension for. Recently was able to connect with both their project manager because that had been delayed. That was supposed to actually be done by August of 2024. It was not. I have confirmed with them that they are working with an architect right now who has submitted plans to the state, and they plan to start this spring after those get approved, and they'll pull building permits. Also talked to the CFO there regarding the sewer assessment, or sewer extension assessment. They're planning on wrapping that in with the financing of their building, and we'll have that all taken care of at that time. So positive news on that, and we hope to see activity out there in the next couple months.
Thank you.
That's good. Anybody else?
Did you all decide not to build a building out front?
Yeah, they've gone back and forth on that. They, of course, as you know, were going to right away. They came back to us several months later, said, now we're not going to do it. And now, most recently, they said, no, it's back on the table, but it might be a year or two. So we'll see, is the answer. But
I'm guessing we're still fighting the aesthetic part of their agreement.
yes, we have some green space and signage stuff that is
Yeah,
we're in conversations with. But
yeah, it's pretty, well, it is a U-Haul, I guess. It is pretty ugly. So, yeah, be nice if we could get something going there. I know it's tough without Jared here, but be nice. All right, anybody else? Aaron, I hate to do this to you, but can you just kind of give everybody an update about Justin?
yeah, so I think everyone's probably heard. I assume one of Justin's children passed away last week. He is on an he's on leave of absence for an undetermined amount of time. So in the meantime here, I'll try to help out with any administrative things at a plan commission and a council level. We have named Roger Hansen the interim public works director for the time being until Justin returns. And things will just keep moving along, and obviously our thoughts are with the Barron's family.
Yeah, thank you. It's tough. All right, well, thank you. Anything else? We'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I have one more thing. I think you think it's appropriate.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just maybe tell them, since they're used to seeing Jared and they haven't seen that position in a while, the plan to post that position.
Oh, yeah,
So-
okay, go ahead.
So, the Economic Development Director position, as I think everyone knows, has been a challenge to recruit for. The plan was to post the city administrator position first, and then about 3 to 4 weeks later, post the Economic Development Director position, and have the same recruitment firm help out with that. So that means within the next couple of weeks, we will, or they will, plan to do that, and hopefully we have some candidates to consider at that time. And maybe in the near future, you'll see someone sitting over there in what used to be Jared's spot.
Yeah. That'd be great.
That's it. I'm done.
Hopefully before you leave, too.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
that would be great.
All right, anybody else? Anything else? Anybody else want to correct me tonight?
I'll motion to adjourn before any more mistakes are made tonight.
All right, thanks, Eric. Motion by Eric, second by Dana, that we adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. We're adjourned at 5:12 PM.